What was your school experience like?
Mm, yeah, I mean, I would like make excuses to like go home. Like I always wanted to go home. I was like, I don't like to be here. Like I remember I would go in the hallway because we'd be like able to read in the hallway, and I'd be like, "Can I go in the hallway?" She'd be like, "Okay," and I'd go in the hallway. And I would yank out one of my teeth. Like if it wasn't loose, like it wasn't loose at all. It was just like a tooth that was perfectly normal, but I would like yank it out and it start bleeding everywhere. And I would like yank out like the gums and everything. And I'd be like, I need to go to the nurse. And I'd be in so much pain. And I would be like, I hope that she sends me home, but she wouldn't send me home. She would just give me gauze and I would just be like in pain for the rest of the day.
You did that once?
No, I did that like 3 times.
Did it work any of the times?
They didn't send me home.
So why'd you continue doing it?
I thought maybe I would be able to really ruin it. It's like it was like the way that I would like first I would like make the tooth really loose and it would hurt really bad because it wasn't loose. Like if you can imagine like using one of your teeth now. Um and then I would go to the nurse and she'd be like, "Oh, it's not that loose." And I would be like, "Okay." And she'd be like, "Yeah, just don't touch it anymore." And then I'd go back in the hallway and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna make it loose." Like I'm gonna show her like and then yeah, I'd go back and she'd be like, "What happened?" Like there's blood all over my face. I'm like, "I don't know." Mm.
Do you recall any incidents in school that left an imprint in your memory?
I had a lot of imprints in my memory from school.
You can talk about
Probably.
all
Okay. So when I was in 6th grade, I think that over time, school got harder and harder for me because when I was in like, as I continued through elementary school, I started to get bullied, um, with like by girls that I was friends with, and then they would like find new friends and they'd like all talk bad about me. Um, so. Mm, I felt like I never wanted to be at school anymore because I was like, I hate this. Like, I don't want to be here. And like, everyone would have to drag me to school and I would like cry in school. Um, and I would just annoy the teachers being like, oh, can I go to the nurse? Because I have a stomach ache. Um, and I was always like, I always had a stomach ache. Like, no matter what, I always had a stomach ache. Or I always felt nauseous. And then the day before I started middle school, like the day before I went into 6th grade, I had like my first panic attack. And I remember feeling so nauseous. And and then after that, like since then, they had to set me up in middle school with like guidance counselors and like social workers in the school. And I would have to like go and meet with them. And I'd have to like leave the class to go see them. And they would give me like they had like a special plan from the district that I would have to like leave the classes and that if I felt like I couldn't breathe or if I started feeling sick, I would have to like leave the class or I was allowed. I was allowed to take tests like later. It was like a 504 plan is what it was called. We had to have like a meeting with the school, like the principal and all my teachers and like the social worker, therapist, whatever, and like all these people like in this one room with just like my parents. And I was just in one of my classes and I didn't know that they were having the meeting. And they called me down to the office. And I just walk in and it's just like everyone sitting in the room, like at this round table. And I was like, um, okay. And I just sat down and one of the teachers who hated me started like putting me on blast and being like, you're not showing up to school, like you're not doing any of your work, and like everyone's just worried about you, but it's also like making everything harder for us. And I was like 12 years old, 11 at the time. No.
you were sick because of health problems, but also a huge part was you anxiety about school, right?
Yeah.
You just didn't like school because how people treated you.
Yeah.
Was like homework an issue, classwork?
Mm, I always did my homework when I would go to school. Classwork, because I was absent, I would like get like 40s. So I wasn't that good at classwork.
But
But when I would just sit with the teacher one on one, like I could easily pick it up.
so it wasn't exactly schoolwork or classwork that made you like resentful of school. It was just the people there treating you as if like you were different and teased you for missing out on school.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
So in the end, you didn't really have that much support, even though there was a plan.
No, I definitely didn't. Because it was also like my mom would tell me like I need to watch what I would say. Um, when I would talk to the social worker or my therapist, I didn't like my therapist, so I didn't tell her anything. And the social worker at the school would like they were always prying to be like, do you want to kill yourself? Do you want to hurt yourself? Do you want and I would have to be so wary of what I said so that they wouldn't think that something was suspicious in my house and that they wouldn't send CPS to my house because that's what I was scared of. So I was trying to avoid any suspicion. So they would be like, oh, like, are you having panic attacks recently? I'm like, no. Like, I'd be like, no, I'm all good. And they're like, then why are you have this plan if you're saying that you're all good? And I was mm, like I was just lying to everyone.
Okay, for the last question to it off, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's a little anticlimactic. It's like, has there ever been a conversation between me and you that has been like that is ingrained in your memory?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think. Sometimes I just think back on our conversation. So,
We've had
uh,
how many do you think we've had? Like maybe hundreds. I know we.
we've spent like hundreds of hours, like
Yeah.
like for sure. So, mm, uh, all I remember is we said something like, "Oh, when we're old and we're gonna be like, I'll be like knitting or something, and you're gonna call me up and tell me some like random psychology fact and then like hang up the phone or something."